Maybe the Flames just need to wear their Blasty jerseys all the time.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. The Flames found a way to look good last night. I guess when you're playing a team that's on the second half of a back-to-back, that happens. But they continue to spiral in this directionless motion that they've been in for years. Today we're going to talk all about the game against the Canucks. Jonathan Huberdeau finding himself a goal on the score sheet again, previewing the game against the Islanders, and because it is Friday, you know it is time for winners and losers of the week. But before we dive into all of that, please make sure that you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, because we're here for you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, with an occasional bonus episode on the weekend. I'm assuming we'll have a few of those to drop once the trades start rolling. So let's get into this. It was really nice to see, last night's game play out. It was very much a game where all of the struggling players definitely, they made themselves known. Mackenzie Weegar, he does not count here. But, Elias Lindholm had a 4-point night. He had a goal at the end of the game. Kadri scored again. Jonathan Huberdeau. Okay, he scored his first goal in what feels like 6 years. I think that you could just tell by the look on his face that it was like he needed that. He needed that horrifically. And he's been saying time and time again, I've just got to be better. I've just got to be better. And I think putting him on the line with Coleman and Backlund it's helpful. I think that it's those Backlund really has this ability to bring out the best in his line mates. And, Coleman's been on his wing now for, I think, 2 seasons, and it's proven to work. I think that, there was a reason Mangiapane, Coleman, and Backlund played together for so long because of how successful they were. I am hopeful for Huberdeau. Again, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but congratulations. To see him go from, benched for an entire third period a little over a week ago to sitting on the bench just being proud of himself after scoring that, it was nice to see. I really am happy for him, and hopefully this is the start of something for the $10.5 million man. But, Martin Pospisil found himself in a fight. He collided with Quinn Hughes, and the Canucks didn't really like that. It wasn't like it was a dirty collision or anything like that either. At least I don't think. It was just kind of like them getting tangled up in the neutral zone. I don't really know what else to say there. But it's so funny to watch this Flames team try to be tough, because I don't think that they are. I think the only toughness that they have is Nikita Zadorov really throwing his body around. Chris Tanev doesn't fight, but there's no one on this team that I'm like, okay, he would go out there and retaliate. There's none of that on this team, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because look at what's happening with Ryan Reeves in Toronto. That's a whole different can of worms, but I think that last night was just a really great game for Dillon Dube too. Everyone knew that he was going to score last night. The Blasty jerseys, there is something so powerful in them. I don't understand what it is. I don't know. It's magic. Like there's magic in the threads, performance enhancing threads. I don't know. And Dillon Dube finds a way to score. He has fantastic games in those whenever he's wearing a Blasty jersey. So this is my petition to make the Blasty jerseys the primary jerseys until they find a way to trade Dillon Dube. I am so happy for him because, again, he's one of those guys that have needed some sort of confidence boost, some sort of elevation, something good to happen. And it finally did. And I'm so happy for him. And today we saw Dillon Dube on the top line at practice. So hey, whatever. I'm not Ryan Huska. But speaking of players that are doing well, I kind of want to take a second to talk about players that are kind of invisible. And this makes me really sad because if you have listened to this show periodically, you know that I am a Mangiapane a truther. I'm a Mangiapane believer. I think that he has the potential to be a consistent top 6 winger in any organization, but he's making almost $6 million, and he's not really performing like he's making that kind of money. You aren't seeing the production from him like you saw 2 years ago. You know, him scoring, 38 goals? It wasn't going to happen again. Last season, he had a bum shoulder. This season has been off to a weird start for everyone. So I'm a little bummed out. I am. I think that he could be a force to be reckoned with for this team. Again, I don't know how many times Nick and I have, mainly Nick, has brought forward the point that there is no one on this team with like an elite shot. If Mangiapane is shooting, at least there's some sort of life. There's an opportunity. I am going to pay extra close attention to him in the game against the Islanders on Saturday because I kind of want to evaluate what we're seeing here from him. And I understand that the Flames played well last night. It's great to see them, put in some effort. I get why everyone wants bad hockey. I do, because these flashes of good, it just keeps leadership hanging on to the very obvious false hope that this team will get it together and become like a Stanley Cup contender. It's not happening. They cannot bad news bears their way out of this. We've tried to run that play a few too many times at this point, and it is just time to move on. It's time to get a top 10 draft pick at least. And coming up next, we're going to talk about another team that is not doing so hot, and that would be the New York Islanders. And before we do that, though, I do want to take a second and talk to you about Game Time. Game Time is the best app that you can have on your phone. If you are a sports fan, you should not have to worry about buying your tickets to your next big event. You want to go to the Flames Islanders game tomorrow? Download Game Time. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. I love Game Time because it has everything included. You can see where your seats are, and you don't have to worry about it. And they have the flash deals and the zone deals to make sure that you get your best seat at the best dollar. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. With zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And with Game Time guarantee, that means you'll always get the best price. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Again, take the guesswork out of ticket buying with Game Time. Terms apply. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Game Time, use it today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me on this Friday edition of Locked On Flames. I hope you all had a fantastic week, and thank you so much for making the show part of your day, whether you're, an everyday listener or sporadically. I appreciate you checking in, and especially when things are in the current state that they are in for the Calgary Flames. The New York Islanders sailing into town Saturday. They are wrapping up their road trip, their Western Canada road trip with, stop in Calgary. They're going to be tired. They've lost 7 in a row. They are driving the struggle bus, and the Flames are like their longtime passenger. The Flames are riding for the whole route, and then they're going to get off, pay again, and then just get right back on. I have been reading about the Islanders. I see a lot of it on my timeline, and of course, listening to Locked On Islanders, but they are not good. And Lou Lamoriello may have to make an in-season coaching change, which he's only done once, and it was years ago, and it was to fire Peter DeBoer, and that man's always getting fired. I feel like that's the only time I ever hear his name is him being brought up when he's fired mid-season or something. But the Islanders are very much like the Flames, where it's just sloppy, messy, unstructured hockey. They don't know what they're doing with themselves, and kind of it resembles a lot like the Flames. And that could be really good for the Flames to kind of finally see what they actually look like and kind of have an out-of-body experience there watching that. And I'm not entirely sure what to make of their goaltending situation. Sorokin is coming off a Vezina caliber season. He finished second in voting, kind of a lot like Jacob Markstrom did 2 years ago, and has completely fallen off. He has a .904 save percentage, and his backup, Varlamov. Varlamov is the backup, and he's just having a better year than Sorokin. And that's so hard. That's really hard, because when you are counting on your goaltender that just, was able to be the MVP for your team last year, stumble like that, that's not good. The Flames went through it last year, among other things. And the Islanders didn't do anything over the summer. And that's the thing, is like, you can't expect to get better by making no tweaks. There was nothing done. Now Islanders fans are chanting and screaming to fire Lane Lambert, and got players saying, if that's not what you want to see, if you don't want to see us play hockey and Lane Lambert coach, then don't come to the games. That's wild. That speaks to how trying these times are for the Islanders. I feel like the Islanders have had a fall from grace that has happened rather quickly, I guess. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals several times in the last few years, and they looked like a team that could win the Stanley Cup back in like 2020, 2021. And it's a bummer that this is kind of what's happened for them. They've just fallen apart. They've gotten older. They haven't really done much with their not retooling, but with the roster turnover and injuries haven't helped them at all, and the expansion draft didn't really help them, but what a mess. Brock Nelson leads the team with 7 goals. There are 4 double-digit scorers on this team, on the Islanders. The Flames have none. Flames have no double-digit scorers. But Blake Coleman and Andrew Mangiapane lead the Flame with 4 goals. So, boy, the Flames. I'm hoping that the Islanders can lose 8 in a row tomorrow. I think it is, if anyone knows how hard it is to kind of dig yourself out of a rut, it is the Calgary Flames. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're able to kind of press them and take this as an opportunity to kind of potentially steamroll them. I don't know what we're going to see other than sloppy hockey. And kind of like Vancouver. Vancouver, I feel like from what I saw, wasn't making horrible mistakes like through the neutral zone. It was more so in their own zone, which is that might be even worse, really. And that's what led to opportunities. I think the Flames they have to find a way to take advantage of this. And I don't know if they can, because it might be like too much of a self-awareness thing where they don't even realize what's happening. But I hope that the Flames are able to win tomorrow. I don't know why I didn't realize this, but they're 4-1-1 in their last 6. So hopefully they can go 5-1-1 in their last 7. I'm again kind of on team don't play great hockey because we need good draft picks. But at the same time, like, I have to watch these games. I would like for them to provide me some sort of entertainment. And even if it's just a minuscule, I do like some flashy hockey, so maybe we'll get something. And for the Islanders to be on this slippery slope it's kind of fun to watch. As someone who had to watch the Bruins and Islanders play like 87 times in the bubble season and in the playoffs, that was just horrible. And, you got to feel for Matt Barzal. Wasting his prime. What a shame. If only a better team had drafted him. And I think for the Flames, I mean, if Jacob Markstrom's starting, then I feel a little bit better. They have Dan Vladar in net tomorrow. It's a 7:00 game for me, so I'll have to be busy at 7:00. I'll find something to do. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's going to be Markstrom in net tomorrow. I don't really see them starting Vladar that much, especially if it looks like the Kings goalie scout has been in watching some games, and I don't know why he'd be there if he's watching for Vladar, but the Kings were also linked to Vladar over the summer. So it's just, again, a wait and see. This is what we're doing. So maybe they're not playing Vladar so they can avoid some injury and still trade him. Coming up next, we are wrapping up the week with winners and losers, because this week was quite a week for so many different reasons, and we're going to talk all about that. But before we do that, though, I do want to take a quick second here and talk to you about something a little bit more personal than hockey. We spend a lot of time together, you and I. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts and who sits. And I'm super thankful for that connection we have. And today I want our chat to be, like I said, more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply of erectile dysfunction medications. You realize what that means? Bring on the extended travel. you're covered, my friend. You don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill your generics for Cialis, Viagra, or Revido prescription. And this is possible because of our friends at Jase Medical. Go online right now at Jase Medical to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. And remember to use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. If you or someone you love would get some peace of mind by having a year's supply of any of their daily medication, go to jasemedical.com to see if it is offered for you. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off of your first purchase. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me on today's episode of Locked On Flames. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto, and I've always got something to say. So, like it or not, I'm there. Winners and losers of the week. This is, again, one of my favorite segments to do because you get to reflect on the week. Not just in hockey. We're going to talk about some hockey here. But in all of sports, all of life, pop culture, and really pick out some really hot and not moments. My first loser of the week is Patrick Kane's agent. He is working his little behind off to make sure that Patrick Kane is connected to every single team. I don't know if there's truth to all of this. I think some of it is, of course, just being pushed by certain insiders and reporters because that is what his agent is telling him to do. Or that's what his agent is telling these reporters to do. And, every reporter wants to be the one that's, oh, I had Patrick Kane to XYZ first. And they really didn't. It was just a speculation tweet. And it does lend to their credibility. We've talked all about this in our media literacy episode. I don't care about Patrick Kane. And to be honest, I don't know if a lot of teams do. He's had serious hip injuries that he played on and just didn't get fixed and avoided and finally had to have the surgery. The Ranger fans were trying to stay connected to Patrick Kane and say, oh, run it back, Showtime. Like, we got this, like, come back. No, there were several reports finally that debunked that and said it's more than likely going to be Buffalo and potentially a multi-year deal. Buffalo, why would you want that man there? Hasn't he caused enough problems in the city of Buffalo? And another loser, I would have to say, is really people that don't let people have fun on Twitter. That is the one thing that I've seen a lot of lately. There were some girls that I follow were posting like Disney cartoon generated pictures of themselves and got called like attention seekers for it and really just mocked for it. And all they were doing was having fun and like posting art. I guess AI isn't really art, but these images of themselves and like as cartoon characters. And someone commented and was like, this is why everyone hates Bruins fans. And there was no correlation to like other than the jerseys that they were wearing, like their cartoon selves were wearing. Like there is no correlation between, someone hating the Bruins because fans are having fun. And then, I really try to see the positive in a lot of different things, and some people are just so negative. If a hockey team is impacting you that much, any sports team, you got to go. You need to log off. And I just remembered my other loser of the week, and it is Brian Cashman. He made some comments. For those of you who don't know, he is the general manager of the New York Yankees, and he made some comments that this is horrible. Injuries are just a part of Giancarlo Stanton's game. And to say that about one of your players is the player that you traded for, that you are paying $26 million a year for, is something that those are choice words, I guess. And Stanton's agent, him and Stanton had a conversation, and I guess Cashman was like, yeah, I don't really see the issue with it. It was just a joke. You just insulted one of your players. It's not appropriate. That's something you say over beer with your buddies, not to the media. What do you think is going to happen there? And I do have some winners because, believe it or not, there was some good this week. And my number one winner is Jonathan Huberdeau. I am so happy for him. You could see it in his face when he scored that this was just everything. I thought he was going to cry because not only was it like a goal, but it was something that he had been working for and he was hungry for, and his work had paid off. And it's like when you are trying so hard to reach like your next goal in, I don't know, like weightlifting, and you're finally able to, get to the point where you can do continuous reps with this new weight. Like you finally did it. You're proud of yourself. You feel accomplished. It's great. And I hope that this is the start of something for him. He has said over and over that he just has to be better, and I hope that this is the start of him getting better, and hopefully we see some more of that against the Islanders. Another winner I have would be Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce. More so Jason Kelce. They released like a Christmas song together. The Eagles have done this for a few years now where they record Christmas songs together. It's pretty fun. I appreciate any sort of lightheartedness in sports when you can just, make the most of something, especially two brothers that played against each other in the Super Bowl this year. It's fun. It shouldn't be taken seriously. And just have fun. Really, everyone that is listening, my homework for you is to have fun this weekend. Be safe, have fun. Don't be dumb. Behave and enjoy some Flames hockey, some Red Zone on Sunday, some college football before the Flames. And that'll do it for me here on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. You make me very happy with your comments and creating a discussion in the YouTube comments. So make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode and you can contribute when you feel necessary. And until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and have a good weekend.